Hey guys, it's Robyn, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back and welcome if you're new. Today I'm doing just kind of an informational video on scents that are very strong. There's been a few people in the comments mentioning that they have challenging spaces to fragrance, or they have open layouts that are quite large, or they have vaulted ceilings or high ceilings, or any kind of factors that make a space difficult to scent. And so I thought I would just do a fall-winter catalog video of bars that might stand up well in an open layout. Now, your mileage may vary. You may have scents that work very well in your open layout that I wouldn't expect. But how I came up with this list of bars is just, if a friend asked me, I've got a very large open layout, vaulted ceilings, what should I try? These are bars that I would suggest, and I would think they would probably have good luck with based on my experience with them and what I've heard from other folks. So bars that I am including in here are anything that's in the current fall-winter catalog for 2022. Things that I'm not including are any limited time offer collections, any temporary things that aren't in the catalog. So we have the Harvest Trio coming up. I haven't smelled it yet. I don't know if any of those are open layout worthy. But anything in here that I think is open layout worthy is in the fall winter catalog from now until the end, until February. Some of these bars are more fallish, some of them are more holiday specific, some of them are just kind of for whenever. There's a bit of a variety here. The other thing I wanted to mention was just some ideas for making your wax work its best in a large space. So if you have a very open layout, or a very large square footage open layout, or just those very high ceilings or vaulted ceilings, one thing to keep in mind is you're probably going to need multiple warmers in that space. So I would say like 200 to 250 square feet per warmer is probably about average. So I have like 4 warmers in my open area. It's probably like 800 square feet-ish. 4 warmers, and that seems to cover it nicely. You could do more. I don't know that I would get away with less, maybe 3. But no matter what bar you choose, if you don't have enough warmers going, it's just not going to be enough. So you're going to need multiple warmers, most likely for an open space or a space with high ceilings. So that's one thing to keep in mind. As far as warmer placement, where should you put your warmers to maximize their capability? So best case scenario for your warmers, you're going to put them in places where they're not right beside windows that are often open. If they're near windows, that's fine, as long as those windows aren't typically open. Otherwise your scent might just blow right out. The other thing to keep in mind is if you have a layout where it's kind of like uniquely architectured in a way that it's like normal height ceilings and then it like opens up to like a second story or something like that. If you have that type of architecture, try to keep your warmers not right underneath that open portion. So if you have like a little table and then it vaults up to the second story, that might not be an ideal place for a warmer if you're expecting it to really throw scent, because the scent's just gonna go up to the second story. If you can have those warmers kind of where the ceilings aren't as high, would be ideal, because then they're going to be keeping the scent down with the ceilings so that you can actually smell it when you're walking around your space. So that is just kind of things to keep in mind for placement of your warmers. I also like to place my warmers near spots where we spend our time. So for instance, I have a warmer on my kitchen counter near where we stand and cook. We have one near the dining room where we sit and eat. We have one right beside the couch on like the little end table by the couch where we sit and like watch TV in the evenings. We tend to put our warmers right in spaces where we tend to spend time. So that is another way to get more mileage out of your scents, is to just kind of place them close to where you spend a lot of your time. One other thing to keep in mind when you are considering open layout warming is that sometimes you may want to supplement the scent. So especially if you have windows open or if the air conditioning has been running, maybe that won't be as much of an issue in the cooler months. But any time where you're feeling like your scents just aren't doing as well, you might want to supplement the scent. So if you have an absolute favorite scent or like 2 or 3 scents that you tend to reach for a lot, pick them up in the room spray, and that way you can just do a little couple spritzes, and then you have that supplementing the wax so that you have more coverage of the scent and it's just kind of more permeating the space. Room spray is also really handy if you don't leave your warmers running all the time, because warmers take a little while to like heat up and get your wax fragrancing the space. So what you can do also is, if you don't leave your warmers always running, is to have the room spray in the scents that you really love, and then turn your warmers on when you get home, spritz a little bit of room spray, and kind of have that scent kind of boosted before it actually heats up and the warmers catch up to the fragrance in the air. So that is another thing to keep in mind, especially for open layout warming. So now, what scents would hold up well in most open layout spaces? The first one I grabbed, and these are in no particular order, Cedar Cider. It's in the woods category. And this one is a nice, like, it's got a nice, like, woodsiness to it. The cedar here is kind of tempered and balanced by some spicy notes and some cinnamon. It does have like a cinnamon bark note. This is not a red hot cinnamon. It is kind of a woodsy, barky cinnamon. And there is like a bright apple scent here as well. This is a very nice, homey, any cool month type of scent. This lends itself well to mid to late fall and all through the winter, even after the holidays when it's still cold out. This is a really nice one to warm. It's very inviting and cozy, and it's a pretty good performer. This one tends to get a lot of compliments from guests, so it's a good one if you have guests coming over. Very cozy and inviting, but an average duration, maybe a little bit longer, but nice performer strength-wise, and I think it would fill most open spaces. Next, we have a woods category scent. This is Iced Pine, and this one is fir, pine, and peppermint. So this one is in the woods category as well. And the woods category scents are going to tend to be good for open areas because they do tend to be stronger just by kind of the way those types of fragrance oils work. And some of them tend to be more long lasting too. Now in this video, I'm not focusing on longevity, I'm focusing on strength. Some of these scents will be longer lasting. I'll let you know which ones those are. Some of them are going to be like average to shorter duration, but will be strong enough to fill an open layout. So Iced Pine is a very kind of classic pine tree type scent. Very close to very snowy spruce if you've had that. Has a little bit of a minty edge to it. So it is a pine tree scent, very Christmassy holiday, very winter. I think you could do very nicely with this scent anytime from like late November to like end of February. Yeah, it's kind of a nice pine tree wintry scent. So that is Iced Pine. I think it would do well in most open layouts. Next we have Falling Apples, and this is one of the new ones for 2022. This one is Apples, Acorn, and Oak, and it is quite strong. This is one of the ones, yes, this is very good. So if you like, it's in the woods category, I believe. Yes, it is in the woods category, despite it being an apple scent, because it does have quite a woodsiness to it. So it's definitely apple, but there is quite a bit of that kind of oak to it, like nice kind of smooth woody notes, and just a little bit of nuttiness. Yeah, nothing too nutty, but it is very much a woodsy type scent, very fall, very much a fall apple scent. Spice-wise, I don't know that I get a whole lot of spice, like maybe a teeny tiny sliver, but what I'm mostly smelling here is just woods, like woods and apples. So very, very nice, very strong. This is one of the ones where when I stepped out of my car, when I got home one day and the windows were cracked, I could smell this from my driveway. So this is definitely going to fill most spaces very well. Is it long lasting? Not overly so. I think in my home, this did about 12 to 14 hours in the open area. It may vary depending on what your home is like. But yes, for me, not overly long lasting. I would say shorter than average. However, much stronger than average. So very good for open layouts. Next, we have Cranapple Crumble, another one of the new scents for 2022 fall. This one is cranapple, brown sugar, and whipped cream, and it's in the bakery category, and it's so good. This one is just getting more and more perfect as we get more into fall. Yes, so it is like toasty, crispy, like baking brown sugar. Like you made a crumble topping, and that brown sugar in there is nice and crystallized and like gotten all caramelized. So it's that kind of like caramelized brown sugar, cranapple, which is like a tart apple note. And you do get whipped cream on the back. I do not smell whipped cream on warm. So on warm, this one's like a beautiful apple bakery type scent. And in my home, this one lasted maybe 12 hours. Like it wasn't an overly long lasting scent either. But again, very strong while it lasted. So I would recommend it for an open layout area. Next, we have Icicles and Evergreen, which is in the catalog this year for the first time after returning as a scent of the month. Well, it was a scent of the month for the first time last year, and then it made the catalog this season. So Icicles and Evergreen is blue eucalyptus, pine needles, and crystallized sugar. And so it is in the woods category as well. It's another one of those pine tree type scents. We had many of those last winter. This one is a little bit different though, because it does have eucalyptus to kind of make it smell fresher, and it does have that crystallized sugar to kind of add some sweetness to it. And the end result means that it is a pine tree scent, but it has more of a like almost perfuminess to it. Like perfumey trees with a bit of sweetness. And it is very pretty. To me, this scent lends itself well to bedrooms and bathrooms. However, if you like this scent, I think this bar is strong enough and long lasting enough to do quite nicely in an open layout. So that is Icicles and Evergreen. Next we have Autumn Sunset and Oldie But a Goodie. This is apples, pumpkin, and spices. And this is the one with the different color wax and label. And this one is very spicy. It's in the spice category. So one thing to do when you're looking for open layout bars is spice category and woods category are gonna be pretty good bets most of the time. Fresh category sometimes as well, but those spice and those woodsy ones are usually pretty good performers. And yes, this one is nice and strong. It's like a classic, very traditional kind of fall winter scent. I don't get apple so much in this bar. I get a lot of cinnamon and clove, mostly clove. And yeah, I get mostly clove. And maybe just a tiny bit of pumpkin. But it is a very nice, like spicy fall winter scent, and I think it would do well in an open layout. Then we have White Amber and Teak. This is returning from the spring summer catalog. It was new last spring summer, and we've kept it for the winter. And this one is kind of a masculine cologne type scent. It is amber, bergamot, and teak. Yes, this one is, to me, this one is kind of an all year round scent. It's not particularly seasonal, but it is kind of like a woodsy cologne type scent, and it is in the woods category as well. You do get a lot of the amber. I don't get a whole lot of the bergamot, maybe a little bit. The bergamot can go a couple different ways. In Scentsy land, bergamot often leans cologne-y, and that's what it's doing here. But yes, I definitely get amber and teak. It is a little bit like masculine cologne type scent. This one would also do very well in an open layout. For me, this is a fantastic performer. I get a lot of strength. It's also very long lasting in my home. So that is White Amber and Teak. Next we have Toasted Acorn and Oak. This is also in the woods category. This is Toasted Acorn, Creamy Chestnut, and Golden Oak. And this one was in the Harvest Trio last fall, and then this year it made it to the catalog. So you can purchase this all season long. And this is just smooth. Like, it is smooth, buttery vanilla. A lot of nuttiness from the acorn. And that like very smooth, soft oak. This one is beautiful. It's creamy, it's strong, like extremely strong. I think if you like bakery scents, you'd probably enjoy this as well. It almost has bakery vibes to me. It's by no means a bakery scent. There are no bakery notes, but there is 100% vanilla in here. It's not in the notes, but it's there. And it's like a buttery vanilla. It's very sweet, creamy, but woodsy, and that nuttiness. So if you want a kind of like woodsy scent that's masquerading as a bakery scent, I would recommend Toasted Acorn and Oak, and the performance on this is fantastic. Very long lasting, very strong. So highly recommend for your open layout. Next we have Around the Campfire, and this one is good on its own or as a mixer. For some folks, this one is a bit scary on its own because it is very campfirey. And so the notes on this one are mountain air, fresh fallen wood, and smoky embers. And the smoky embers are very much present. So if you don't like smoky scents, I would skip this one. It is kind of polarizing. Oh, this one's been sitting for a while. I got this bar last year, and this has gotten nice. So when you buy a fresh bar, it is very smoky, like very traditional. You sat around a campfire and your clothes now smell like wood smoke. That's how it smells at first, but now that this bar has been sitting, this is nice. It is like freshly chopped wood. I'm getting almost no smoke on cold now. Mountain air, not so much. It's almost like vanilla has come out in this a lot. Yes, and so I did notice when I warmed this last year, it was very strong, very long lasting, like several days, and it changed as the warm went on. So if you don't like the initial smoky phase, you have a couple options. You can just kind of wait it out, and after a couple days, that smokiness is gone, and it becomes kind of like what I'm smelling now. It becomes kind of vanilla-y, warm, woodsy, like that. Or buy a bar this season, tuck it away, and use it next year, and you'll have this beauty right now. Like, this is gorgeous. I'm actually gonna put this in my melting basket right now. because this has lost all of its smokiness after sitting for about a year. So that is Around the Campfire. Again, good as a mixer if you want to take a scent that is maybe kind of bakery-ish or fruity and you want to kind of make it fallish. Add a little bit of Around the Campfire, make it very woodsy fall. Yeah. I will say this scent's very strong, so if you do mixes with it, I would use 2 scents or 2 cubes of the other scent and then 1 cube of this to kind of balance it out and just go from there. But yes, Around the Campfire is a good one, although controversial. Next we have Very Snowy Spruce. This one is balsam, spruce, cedar branches, and pine cones. And this one's probably the closest to like your classic Christmas tree scent. So probably more towards the holidays. This one's the classic Christmas tree. Yeah. You do get the pine cones, which I find interesting because it's kind of like a dry woodiness. But you also get the, I get more balsam than spruce. Cedar branches, maybe, but I definitely get pine cones here. It's kind of cool. So yeah, pine tree scents are not my favorite thing, although I'm quite enjoying smelling them right now. It's been a while since I smelled them and I kind of got burnt out on them last year. But yes, these are very nice. I quite like Very Snowy Spruce. If I had to pick a pine tree scent, this would probably be my pick. And strength-wise, this one does very well. It's a good average duration, if not a bit longer, and very strong. So I would recommend Very Snowy Spruce for your open layout needs. A couple bars that I don't have on hand right now, but I think would work well. Perfect Day, also a new release scent this fall. And Perfect Day is autumn pear, spiced syrup, and bourbon. And it's a new release for this year. And it is also fairly long lasting and quite strong. So again, I think it would fill an open layout. It's not my personal favorite scent and I probably won't repurchase it. But if you like those kind of tart pear scents and you want one for an open layout, I think it would do well in your open space. Another one that I think would do well in most open areas is Caramel Apple Craze. And it is golden caramel, sweet red delicious apples, and whipped vanilla. And that one is like a classic caramel apple scent. It's like red apples, or like maybe I guess a red and green apple. It's not quite sweet red apple. It does have some tartness to it. And it's a very creamy caramel scent. So I would say it's about 2/3 apple to 1/3 caramel or caramel, and very good performer, quite strong. And I remember it being like average duration. I did a tester recently and it was a bit shorter, but when you do like a bar, it's at least average duration, if not a bit better. So yes, Caramel Apple Craze and Perfect Day are bars that I don't have on hand right now. Caramel Apple Craze, I do have more on the way. I just ran out, so I have more on the way now. But right now I don't have a bar to show you, but it is a very good one. I would recommend it. Next we have Coconut Lemongrass, and this is not a fall winter scent, but it is in the fall winter catalog. And this one is coconut and lemongrass, very simple. And I think Kara here on YouTube mentioned she likes to use this one for after she cooks. If she cooks something that kind of makes the house smell like cooking for a long time, she'll warm this to kind of clear it out. And yes, it's very strong. It is, I would say, equal parts coconut and lemongrass. I think you have to like both of those scents to enjoy this. And yes, very strong, a little bit citrusy, a little bit creamy coconutty, but very strong. So I think this would do well in your open layouts. There's that one. Next we have Fluffy Fleece, which is in the fall winter catalog this year. I don't have a small brick of it. I don't have a small bar of it. What I do have is the brick from last holidays. So this was a Scentsy holiday brick last season, and then it did make it into the catalog this year. And it is blackcurrant, cozy musk, and heliotrope. So we have blackcurrant, which is kind of a fruity scent. I don't get a ton of that in here. Cozy musk you do get for sure. And heliotrope I do smell in here as well. It's a very soft, kind of sweet, clean floral. I love heliotrope. I grow it in my garden every summer and put it in baskets. It's one of my favorite flowers. It's very fragrant. Not much to look at, but very fragrant. So here is Fluffy Fleece. Now, I have a very complicated relationship with this scent. And I say that because I do not care for it in wax, but I love the laundry. This one is very pretty. It's very clean, very soft and cozy. It is in laundry as well. And like I said, I love the laundry. It's a very good performing laundry scent. The wax, also very good performing, very strong, long lasting. It gets a little bit of a different note to it on warm to me, and that note is pickles. It's odd, I know. It is what it is. Most people don't get that note. For whatever reason, my nose does. So for that reason, I don't love it in wax. but it is a good performer, and most people don't have a weird nose like me, and they really enjoy it. So Fluffy Fleece I would recommend for your open spaces. And luckily, you don't have to commit to a giant brick of it. You can get the regular size Scentsy bars of it this year. The next one I have here is Cashmere and Corduroy. This one is Vanilla, Sicilian Bergamot, and Cashmere Sandalwood. And this one is a sweet, creamy, perfumey scent. It's very nice. It's very soft and cozy and sweet. It doesn't smell like it would be a strong performer, but it is, and it's also extremely long lasting. So I think if you were to put this in an open area, it would do well. I don't think it's going to be a boomer in an open area, especially with high ceilings, but I think you're going to smell it, and I think it's going to last a long enough time that it's going to keep kind of accumulating in the space because it goes for days and days and days in other spaces. So I think it would do okay. It's not going to be a boomer, but if you have company coming and want something just a bit more understated, I would try Cashmere and Corduroy. Next, we have Autumn Road Trip. This one is Harvest Apple, Anjou Pear, and Silver Oak. I would also recommend First Day of Fall, which is... I just used up all of my First Day of Fall, so I don't have any to show you. So First Day of Fall is Just Picked Pumpkin, Autumn Woods, Ground Nutmeg, and Cinnamon. And that one is like a spicy kind of dried leaf type scent, very fall specific. But I think it would do well enough in an open layout that I would recommend that one. Like I said, Autumn Road Trip is Harvest Apple, Anjou Pear, and Silver Oak. This one is like, if First Day of Fall is like the dead leaves and the dried leaves, this one is the leaves when they're still on the trees. They're all colorful and crisp and still like leafy smelling. There is apple here for sure. Pear, I don't know that I smell. Maybe. But I smell like a crisp kind of tart apple, which the tartness might come from the pear. I don't know. Oak, yes, it is. It does smell kind of woodsy, and like that kind of like on the trees still colored leaves. So that one is very nice. I would recommend that one. That is Autumn Road Trip. And like I said, First Day of Fall would also do well, but I don't have that on hand right now. Next, we have another spice category scent. This one is Smoked Apple, Vanilla, and Cinnamon Embers. And this one is Spiced Ember Glow. This was a new one last fall, winter, and this one is very beautiful. I really like this one. It is a very red hot type cinnamon note. It does have a bit of smokiness to it. It's quite spicy. I would say like 3/4 spice, if not more. But that apple note is so like, it's just good. It's like mostly cinnamon with a little bit of apple, and it's just kind of toasty and warm and cozy. This one, if you want to tone it down, you can mix it with a bakery scent as well. I often do. But if you have an open layout you're trying to fill, I would just try it unadulterated first by itself, and then you can add mixers if you want to cream it out more. But this one does very well. Very strong, very long lasting, really, really nice. So Spiced Ember Glow, I would say winter, like late November to end of the holiday season, I would say, like late January. Very nice. Yes. So good for those really cold days. Another one I don't have a bar to show you, but is a very good open layout performer for strength, is Clothesline. It's an all year round catalog scent, and it is crisp greens, orange flower, violet, and laundry. And it's like your classic kind of laundry scent. Very strong, very open layout worthy. Another one that I'm waiting for another bar to arrive of is Aloe Water and Cucumber, which is aloe water, cucumber peel, palm frond, and pineapple nectar. Again, not a fall winterish scent, but it is in the fall winter catalog. Both Clothesline and Aloe Water and Cucumber are kind of good all year round scents, but both are strong enough to be open layout ones for sure. The next one we have is Arctic Kiss. This one is also in the fresh category, and this one is Arctic Mint, Fresh Air, and Vanilla Clouds. And most people think this one has honeydew melon in it somewhere because it does have a definite melon tone to it. Yes, it is like fresh melon. I would say like candied honeydew melon, but like fresh and crisp and clean. Very nice. I would say you could get away with this multiple times of the year, but very strong, good performer, quite a boomer actually. So Arctic Kiss I would highly recommend. Then in the bakery category, we have a new one to the bakery category this year. It was a holiday brick last year, which is what I have it in. And it is Vanilla Cinnamon Maple, and it is cinnamon stick, maple, and whipped sweet cream. So this one does quite well. In an open layout that's quite large, it's probably not going to last extremely long. It'll be about average, maybe a little bit less, but it is strong enough, I think, to carry an open layout. Yeah, this one's good. This one is like salted caramel to my nose. Like when I'm thinking like there's a craft fair that comes to town every year, and there's this lady in town that makes these like salted caramels like from scratch, and they're like wrapped in wax paper, and they're so good. And this smells like those. It's delicious. So to me, I smell salted caramel. There's no salt in the notes, but I smell salted caramel. Cinnamon, not overly a lot of cinnamon in here. It's just a very understated cinnamon. So if you're afraid of spice, this isn't a spicy scent per se. It's just kind of like a little bit of an extra depth to the scent. So yeah, vanilla, cinnamon, maple, I think would do okay in an open layout. It definitely does in mine. But I think it could do an even larger space as well. Probably won't be a boomer, but it will do well enough. Another bakery scent that does well in open layouts is Scary Good. And this came to the catalog this year as well. This was a scent of the month last fall, and this is pumpkin puree, fresh cinnamon, toasted butterscotch, and creamy vanilla. And this one is really, really good and very strong. Yes, so this one is pumpkin for sure. That's what I get first. And then I get like sweetness, and it is toasted butterscotch. There is almost like a smokiness to that butterscotch. Yeah, it's almost like a smoky butterscotch. Cinnamon, yes, for sure. There's a healthy dose of cinnamon here. But yes, and vanilla, I don't know. Vanilla, I think, is just kind of creaming things out more. But yeah, it is a sweet, spicy, gourmand pumpkin scent. Very nice. Fantastic as a mixer, but definitely open layout worthy in strength. Highly recommend that one if you're a pumpkin lover or a bakery lover. One that I wasn't sure whether to include, but I did because it's one of my absolute favorite scents ever, is Bright Cider Life. And this one is in the fruity category, I think is where they put it. Yes, so they put it, Scentsy puts it in the fruity category. I would say it's more like a bakery scent to my nose, but it is spiced harvest cider, pumpkin, and red apple. And I've said before, I don't really get pumpkin so much from this. What I get is like sweet cinnamon sugar dough, like cinnamon bun dough or something before you bake it, and like toasted apple or like, I guess, baked apple. Yes, I get like baked apple and like dough. It is very, very good. Very strong in my home. Not gonna last, it does last a couple days in my house. I think if you have a very large open space, it's not gonna last as long probably, but it is, I think, strong enough to be worth trying. I think in most open spaces this would stand up okay. So yes, I would recommend Bright Cider Life if you like very sweet kind of like bakery type scents. I would give it a try. The other one that I think is very open layout worthy is in the citrus category, and it is Blue Grotto, which is tropical notes, sweet citrus, and lush botanicals. This one is not by any means a fall winter type scent, but it is in the fall winter catalog. It is available. It's very much a like very good citrus scent. So yes, this one's good. This one is just like a very happy, like smiley scent. Yeah, it is citrus, but there's more to it. It's a very zingy tart citrus. It's zesty. It does have lush botanicals in the notes, but don't be afraid if you think that means dewy greens, because if you're burnt out on dewy greens like I am, I don't get greens here. It's just a very like nice, a little bit different citrus, but very nice citrus. Classic enough that it's still very identifiable as just classic citrus, but it does have a little bit of, I guess, difference to it than like your average orange scent or something like that. It's got like, I would say probably lime, lemon, orange, maybe grapefruit. I don't know. Lots of stuff in here. It's very good. Highly recommend that one for anybody, but especially if you have an open layout you want to fill. So those are my recommendations if you are looking for bars that would be good to try in a large open space. I think we got a bit of selection there. We got a few bakery ones, a few spice, a couple fruity, and quite a few woodsy. So let me know below what your favorites are. Let me know if you've tried any of these in a very large, challenging space and how they did. If there's any that you thought didn't work, let us know that below too. If there's any that I didn't mention here that you thought performed really well in your open space, let us know that as well. So we will just kind of have the comment section as a place to learn from each other and give suggestions and feedback, and that way we can figure out what's going to work in those challenging spaces of yours. That is what I've got for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.